Hello, welcome back to Monster Train. You can see I got the patch notes open. It's a new patch, if you can believe it. Yeah, I'm gonna go over this. I have a pretty good understanding of what's coming up in this patch. It's mod support, and then there's some balance changes, but we'll do a review as usual. I did a big patch review for every other major patch for this game, but this one's pretty minor. It's some small balance changes we'll get into, and mod supports here. Will I be trying out mods? I don't know. I In the past, I've talked about it many times. I'm not a big fan of mods, etc., etc. You get the idea. I don't typically play with mods in video games. However, maybe I'll try some out for Monster Train. Who knows? Let's read through the patch notes, shall we? So, for first of all, like really nice looking really nice looking background screen. I like this a lot. Check out that little morsel. He's doing a big sprint. I just wanted to draw attention to this as well because it looks really nice. I'm a big fan of it. They made Bone Dog more common, for like significantly more common for the next like week or so. So if you still need Bone Dog, you should hop on board. Mod support is here. There's some holiday themed graphics for Halloween. Oh, colorblind mode as well. I'm not colorblind, but I play almost every game in colorblind mode because I like the color scheme more. I will probably turn that on just in case you yourself are colorblind. Try my best to make these videos as accessible as possible with the screen shake off and the background off, and I'll turn on colorblind mode and all of that. Let's get into the changes. Bone Dog's on his own event now, which is cool. Real quick, I need to move my keyboard back. It is too close to me. Because when my keyboard's too close to me, that means that my microphone is too far. Hello, welcome to Closer, featuring me. Alright. Anyway. They buffed Dark Calling for Rector. Bonus attack on Reform increased to 5 at level 1 and 10 at level 2, as well as stats for Rector across the board. Is this going to make me take Dark Calling Rector? I don't know, maybe. I'll probably give it a try or two here or there, given some bad situations, perhaps. Razor Sharp Edge is back to saying -2 heart. However, it lowers current health and max health, which is interesting. I don't think this is a big change. I guess not. It's a nerf, but it's really minor. Card's still fine. Emberstone can now be applied to X cost cards. Sure. Cool. I guess. Using a reform card when there's only one possible target in your consume pile skips the deck screen and immediately reforms that unit. Sure. Gorge stat gain up for Penumbra's Glutton. Alright. Yeah. Like this is going to be my reaction to a lot of these, but none of these changes make me go like, oh man, this is big, right? Most of these changes are just me going, yeah, okay. Sure. I see it. Increase the stats on Solgard's Titan channel. That's the one that has to phase out and phase in when you play enough spells. So it has higher stats at level 1, which is cool. 35 was not enough to kill heavies. I imagine that it's up to like 40 or 45 now, which is enough to kill heavies, but he didn't really have that problem anyway. I don't feel like you just put something behind him or cast a spell on the heavy, so, I didn't think that was a big problem. But it helps. Like, sure, it's a buff. Cool. Decrease shard requirement at level 2 might make it more playable, because at level 2 the jump to, was 12 was just, honestly, I felt like it was unpickable. Being able to cast 12 spells in a reasonable timing on a combat with 4 to 6 rounds is, or no, it's 6 to 8 rounds, but still, like, it's tough. It's really tough. So I was not a fan of that. Maybe it's better now. I might give it a try. What are we playing today, by the way? Today is Little Fade. Okay. I'm going to just read through all of these and talk about them as a whole for the next 3. Hollow Drippings got its burnout increased, Purifying Cleanse got its healing and burnout increased, and Wicklash got its attack buff increased. These changes change very little. The problem with burnout is that there's not enough support for it once you get off of floor 2. And these changes don't help that problem. But Wicklash might be a little more pickable now. Perils of Production got its Rage increased. Yeah, alright. Because I picked that card for the Rage. Railbeater got 5 more armor. Mollusk Mage, 5/3 and +8 magic power. Cuddle Hex to a 5/3. Just like standardizing the Stygian totem cards. Not totems, but channelers, I guess. What are they called? I don't actually know what they're called. The squids? Whatever they are. They're all 5/3s now. Cool. Preserve Thorns. This is probably the only change in this entire batch that I will even notice in the rest of time. Preserve Thorns Ember cost increase from 0 to 1. That's probably, it's not even big. Preserve Thorns is still really good when you pick it, but it's a change. Like, this is the change that'll probably be the most impactful. Removed rage bonus from Furnace Tap. No. First, they nerf it by 1, and now they remove the rage bonus? I don't believe it. Unbelievable. Oh, I just realized, actually, the lowering current health and max health on Razor Sharp Edge might actually be a buff when you play this on enemies. You can use this to finish off something that has like 5 health and took 2 damage for some reason, or 3 damage for some reason now. So, maybe that's a buff, actually. That's actually really a lot more interesting to me now that that works that way. Okay. But yeah, moving on. You know, I'll put a timestamp down below. I should have mentioned this at the start of the video, but I forgot. There'll be a timestamp in the description if you want to skip that. But, you know, it's a little... I don't plan these videos out in any way. I didn't come into this expecting to review a patch. I knew vaguely that there was a patch today, but I wasn't very aware. We're playing Little Fade, so realistically, are we going to notice any of those changes? Nah, probably not. But yeah, my thoughts on those changes, and the reason I didn't make a balanced patch review ahead of this is because, like, yeah, those changes don't really matter. I'm not picking Dark Calling Rector more. Minor, very minor fringe cases where Razor Sharp Edge is better and Preserve Thorns are worse, and for the most part, like, Moss Mage is a 5/3, he used to be a 7/1, I think, with +7. This card is better, but let's look at all the cards that it affects in this starter. Oh, none. Weird. Also, I should mention it's 4 AM, so, you know, beware the yawns. And now, 7 minutes in, I'll tell you, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think of this balance patch. I guess it's a very minor balance patch, but tell me if you think I'm underestimating any of these changes. Maybe that one more rage on Perils of Production is just insane. And it's just like, the rage on that card is so... The reason that I make fun of that one in particular, and they do this a lot, but I want to give this theory as well while we're here. Because +1 rage, if you keep upping the rage by 1 every patch on Perils, eventually that card becomes insane. Probably around 6 rage is where it becomes insane. However, the problem is that right now you don't pick Perils for the rage, you pick it for the energy gain. That card could say 0 rage and you would pick it in the same circumstances, which is why that change is something that just makes me go, ha, okay, whatever. Like, this is just like fundamentally, it makes no difference. That's all. And a lot of changes that I laugh at are for that reason. Okay, now we can get into it. Plating Seal Daedalus. Shadow Arc is Sap Seraph. We are Exile, Melting Exile Stygian with Molded Mollusk Mage Vodaveri. Molded is really, really cool to start with. Like, really, really, really good to start with Molded. I also like going to the Forge first for a little Fade here. Oh, no Spikes Fade. How sad. I'll play Firelight. Cranberry and I struggled quite a bit with Firelight, but with the Molded in our starter, I'm down to try it again. We got a bunch of cool one-space units. I want to think about Volatile Gauge here. I think it's bad. I think I just take Hell Pact, but neither of them are particularly good here. Which is, like, Hell Pact doesn't help much, which is why I want to think about Volatile Gauge. The extra draw isn't bad, and typically on these runs we're playing like 1 or 2 cards per turn anyway, once you play out your units. So I kind of want to give it a shot, but I think it's really bad. It's interesting to consider though, because a lot of the time it lowers your number of cards played down to 1 or 2 maybe on a turn instead of 3, but you get to choose which 2 cards. And oh, look at these Halloween decorations. These are really nice. These are really nice. I like this a lot. Very cool. What was I saying? Yeah, you want to choose prime cards in this deck. You don't really care. Train Stewards are pumpkins. Okay, all right. I keep getting distracted by the weird looking. I'm trying to finish a thought here, and then my train steward is actually a pumpkin man, and it looks kind of silly. I like it, but also he's a pumpkin man. Yeah, basically, I don't really care what I'm playing as long as I'm playing like cards that reform, more or less. So it's not a big deal for me to have taken Volatile Gauge, maybe, or it matters a lot and I die because I can't play all my units, right? That's the flip side. Sometimes I just don't get to play all my units and lose, which is the reason we did not go for it there. This is the Fade Classic right here. Gives the whole floor burnout and then the floor just dies and doesn't get to do anything meaningful. And then I fill up this floor. It's like, I'm not worried. I'm truly not worried about this. This is where I struggle with Little Fade every time, but I'm sure it's going to be okay. Although I should have played one less unit here. That's okay. Or I shouldn't have played all three of these. Godaberry is kind of cool. The Endless makes it so that she'll keep the stats, but she doesn't gain that burnout. So she gets to do some cool things for us here and there, which is neat. Like, she's a 6/6 here. Cool. 9 damage is no big deal. I'm okay with that. We're hopefully going to see something really nice here. It's not bad to take Whiplash, I guess. Taking a sip of my water. Gotta stay hydrated. I'm gonna take Whiplash. And I will take Crystallis. So what we're looking for on this run is... we're gonna go left. Looking for multi-strike that's affordable? Okay. Plus 25 is good. I'm looking for Wickless Bear in here, I believe. Tycoon's okay. This is Paraffin Enforcer's time to shine, though. I'm down, I'm down to give Paraffin Enforcer his shot. This is your time, buddy. Don't let me down. One thing that I've learned is that you need to give health to whichever unit is behind Little Fade. Because after Little Fade dies, there's usually a little runoff of excess damage that her healing can't keep up. The enchant is purple. I wonder if that's a Halloween thing or if it's just purple now. And they didn't document that. I don't know. If you struggle with this Fade, I think she is definitely the hardest of them to play, but once you understand it, it probably becomes pretty easy. Effectively, what you do is you create this sort of a floor where you have Little Fade and then something in front. It doesn't have to be a 2-space unit, mind you. It can be something that's 1 space. It can be whatever you find, basically. And that unit that's in front is beefy enough to take the excess hits, and then you just have Little Fade dying every turn, and you want to maximize how many buffs you get for Little Fade's death, right? So in this case, we get 3 +5 +5, so every round that Little Fade dies is 15/15 to a floor. And the burnout. But as long as you have Little Fade dying enough times, you keep ahead on the burnout, and the floor scales up like crazy. Obviously, I did take a little damage here and there, however, it's okay. Now, the other thing that's good to know is Little Fade, or rather, this is a mechanic of Burnout. Burnout as a whole works front to back, so even though these two are at 1, and Little Fade is taking 8 on this round, and is burning out, she still applies her burnout. So her burnout goes, she applies burnout 2 to the whole floor, and then these guys tick down. Which is why it doesn't just instantly end here, basically. Good thing to note, because if it didn't work that way, it would be tragic. Very, very tragic. You would just kind of lose. There. Draft is good. Draft is probably the best thing we could have here. Although it's a little awkward, but I'm okay with it. We'll skip this. The reason Draft is good is because of multi-strike. The reason Draft is bad is because of Burnout 1. If we see a multi-strike from this steel shop, Endless. I can roll and have enough to buy multi-strike if it shows up. it's worth. Cool. It's time, Paraffin Enforcer. This is your moment, my man. The whole world is watching this run. I mean, maybe not the whole world, but a lot of the world is watching this run. The other thing I want to grab is Burnout 1 for the draft so that we have 2 turns for Little Fade to die. Much better. And then I think we just remove and maybe duplicate the draft. I don't think I want the Abandoned Stave. Maybe the Calcified Ember isn't bad. Is it? I don't think it's good. I think this is just a skip. I don't think I'm willing to dilute this deck for the next 2 combats because the next 2 combats are the shakiest. And I'm not willing to dilute this deck for energy because I don't really need energy. So all in all, it's just not worth it there. This is Plating Seal? Yeah. Okay. I like playing bottom floor here. And I guess I want to keep out of the Reform pool. Train Steward's just a curse here. We don't play Train Steward. I don't want to play him. We play the draft and then we play Votavary ideally. That's our perfect floor. And I think we can get there. Give this guy a little Wicklash action. Okay. The draft and the Votavary are going to be scaled less, but this Paraffin Enforcer will kill for us, basically. Really nice bomb placement. Like, really, really good bomb placement there. Gonna play this Train Steward to not take 5. 1 in the pool isn't that big of a deal. And this Paraffin Enforcer will just kill Daedalus at this rate. Yeah, finally, Votavary. Sure took your time. This is the round that Fade doesn't die, but that's fine. I think we have this, for sure. I'd be surprised if we did not. This guy doesn't need long to kill Daedalus. He does 164 damage per round. Now this is the turn where I would have liked Little Fade to die, but it's still fine. I'm still fairly confident. Just press end turn. Yeah. You're dead, right? 3 rounds? Yeah. Pretty, it's gonna be, this is the best time for Paraffin Enforcer. He's gonna scale this draft like crazy. This floor is gonna go insane. The interesting thing about this though is that typically I don't like to do this with Firelight Fade, because Firelight Fade does what Paraffin Enforcer does. But I guess we're just gonna scale. Oh, Intent on Death is just a win too. Intent on Death held over is just a W for sure. We can skip it all. We're basically just removing down to Intent on Death and the good cards. Remove all the foregone powers. Remove everything we don't need. And we're cruising. So we're gonna go right. Gonna grab cost reduction. Gonna remove the worst cards, which are Train Stewards right now. You got at the magic shop? You got holdover. And just staring at me. 5 gold away. Hate to see it. Hate to see it. Let me double check. Yeah, okay. Just making sure. It is indeed 5 gold away from me. It's okay because hopefully this run ends up at a position where that doesn't matter, I guess. Like hopefully we just have 3 or 4 Intent on Deaths and very few cards is my plan here. I'm gonna not take this trial. I'm not taking many trials early because they are scary. I think Firelight Fade does struggle through the early sections of the run. We're just chilling. I mean, the +5 on Wicklash is interesting, I guess. It's not necessarily good, but it's not really bad either. I'm gonna play Mollusk Mage because I need to get something down here. I need something for this 9-2. We're taking this 10 and it's unstoppable, but this one we can probably deal with. How does that happen every time? Obviously this isn't my ideal floor, but it's close. I just need something to kill the 9-2. Been pretty fortunate with the primitive mold draws, I will admit as well. And Votivary goes... Oh, we have Votivary intent on death. Huh. If I can pull a Waxer Snuffer here. I guess Votivary goes in front. It doesn't matter too much. There is a case to be made a lot of the times when I play this run. And I might actually do this on this one as well. People have tried to convince me otherwise, but... Because, like, Draft is pretty solid. However, I do kind of just like duplicating Paraffin Enforcer, because then my 2 units that I'm looking for are on draw priority. You know me, I like my draw priority. It removes any variance from the run. The alternative is to just hyper removal, which is not wrong either. If I remove enough cards, then it doesn't matter either. So, kind of hard to say what is the best. Given the circumstances, we're at 25 cards, we can probably remove down if I just go to all the removals. So, it is hard to say. That's my smash the end turn button. You're not long for this world. Mollusk Mage just hit for 115. That buff really fired him up, huh? I don't really need many more cards, I don't feel like. Wow. Glacial Seal. But when you put it like that... No, I don't feel like we need many more cards. I think that we just need to remove and we have a win. So that's what we're gonna aim for. Go left. The right path, you can't afford the shop, so at least this shop, it's a 1 and 4. But sometimes you see the holdover here and it's really good. Plus 10. It is Sap Seraph, I should keep that in mind. Might not be a bad idea to look for some external backline answer. Because he's gonna get run over, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna remove 2 here. I really just want to remove a lot. If we remove enough cards, we should maybe power up enough to be able to take a trial here. I gotta take my hoodie off. It's actually really warm. Better. Mark of Invasion is not worth it to me here. It's... Well, I get to kill 2 and start on mid. This combat is really scary. Like, really, really scary to me. I can... No. I just... It's really close, too. It's really, really close. But I think that this one is not worth it. The problem isn't... The Sycophants themselves aren't the problem, but the problem is that I'm... Most likely, I'm gonna play that and I'm gonna take some amount of damage for it. Especially with that Space Lost middle floor and the Crystallis in my opener. Okay, I need to play top floor. Yeah, okay. I want to ping off all but one of you. Yeah. Obviously this isn't the way that I'm scared of, it's that one. So the idea here was to land a unit. Yeah, the idea was to land a unit and scale them, but, you know, not looking so hot here. It's not the end of the world if this guy goes through, it's just a lot of damage. There's our unit that scales. Okay, we're probably fine. We got there. It's a little close. Actually, how do we want this? We want... So Fade's dead. You clear 2, you clear 2, and then you get to hit. Or it's you clear 2 and then you clear 1 and then... Yeah, because Foregone Power is going to take 1. And so... I put Mollusk Mage in front here. And we're not going to take a ton. It's every time. It's unbelievable. Every single one. How does it happen? I don't understand. Yeah, and then the draft just gets to pull in on him here. 92. We got it, right? We kill him? Cool. And yeah. Sick. It's hard to say how this would have gone if I didn't play safe. I may have gotten away with it the same. I feel like it would have been a little scarier, but I'm not 100% certain, to be honest with you. Not really sure how this would have looked if I didn't, or if I had the trial. I've been losing a lot to not following my instinct, and my instinct has often been, hey, don't take this trial, it's gonna kill you. And I go, I talk myself into it, and then I lose. It always hits foregone power. What? How many foregone powers have I discarded in this run? The answer is more than you would expect. Self-made harpy sycophant, by the way. I want this intent on death, but I also really want Fade dead. There's no way for me to kill Fade here. So if I intent on death, I think it's bad. I think it is bad. Then we just do this. And then we're chilling. Because I want Fade to die so that she comes back fresh. I think we're fine. Because I can now pull my molded, and then I can still pull primitive mold. I mean, there's just no way it happens again, right? Yeah, there you go. Even I can't have that many times of a miss. And we didn't even hit it, but it's fine. Cool. This sword does a lot of damage. And the Paraffin Enforcer is doing pretty well, I will say. Sacred Wicks. Nah. Remnant Host? Nah. Nah. I don't like any of it. Yeah, we're just looking for removals right now. I'm not really looking for anything else. Right path is really good. I am going to do the double on Paraffin Enforcer here. I'll walk you through why. So the draft is cool, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna take space from this Arcus, and then we're gonna play Fade, Paraffin Enforcer, draft. The reason that this is really good is because we get the low ramp up time is the first reason. It's 2 turns and we're always fully, more or less fully set up. The draft is icing. On top of that, if one Paraffin Enforcer dies, which is likely into this Seraph, we can just revive him afterwards. And we don't like die from that because while one is dead, another one gets to take his 2 swings, and then the draft should be behind swinging as well. And if I do that same line in my head, but instead of Paraffin Enforcer number 2, there's like 2 Mollusk Mages behind, what most likely happens is this Paraffin Enforcer dies, and then the 2 Mollusk Mages get mopped up anyway, and then I just take like 40 damage to the pyre. So I'm pretty sure this is better. He's got the health. It's a little scary going into Shade Wings, but we'll see. Shadow means we're playing bottom floor as well here. Hopefully we don't lose space bottom, because if we do, it's... yeah, okay, it's fine. Cool. And then for this combat, we just get to do this, and it's pretty good. Pretty sure I just play Fade every round and we go insane. The deck's thinning out. It's getting pretty close to where I would want it to be. That burnout is really sick. I think we burnout extend the back one, because this guy in the front should take free damage and then... yeah, unbelievable. I mean, believable, to be honest, but unbelievable. The guy in the front should be the one with the lower burnout, so that he just takes damage and then burns out when it's correct, too. We take a curse. Oh, also the rally, yeah. Wait, this is the wrong one. That's not one that you're supposed to make. That's not a mistake I'm supposed to make at this point in my life. I thought that was the curse shard, though. Ah, well. That sucks. There's nothing I can do about it, too. The big thing about this deck that I am obviously a little unhappy with in the given position is there is no mistake forgiveness. A lot of runs you have ways out when you make a mistake like that. This run does not. This run just takes a ton. I have no pings, I have nothing. I just have to make sure I don't make a mistake like that again. Because if I do, it just costs me the run. And that's not a good spot to be in. Not a good idea. I never respect these rally shards because I don't even think about them. And yet, how much is it? It's a lot. Not a good hit, but it happens. Okay, this is the curse one. There you go. That one's the curse one. I don't know why I thought he didn't play the curse one here. That's fine. I didn't think he played the, or rather, I didn't think he played the days one. I thought he was playing incant for some reason. Even though this combat doesn't have incant cards. You can take them both to 8. Doesn't matter, we crush through the boss regardless. This floor does a lot. Yeah. Hopefully that's not a mistake that matters too much. But it might make a big difference. We shall see. Remnant Pact, we shouldn't need. Siren Song, whatever. Deep Offering. Nah, I'm good. Just take space as was outlined in the plan. I do kind of want to get some pyre health back. However, is it worth it? Removal's probably better. I mean, 70 HP is enough where I'm pretty fine with going left and grabbing the removal here. And then we want to go... Maybe I do go left and get the pyre health in the next area. Start clearing out... I'm going to clear Mollusk Mage next. Mollusk Mage is good to go. We go... +10. Probably take... I mean, the cost reduction actually feels like a waste of money. I have nothing... I'll take -1 on Crystallis. And at this point, though, I just feel like there's no reason to. I'd rather just purge. The next card that's good to go is just going to be Foregone Power. I'm willing to get rid of 2 more cards. And that's fine. And then Firelight 3. Just for a second there, I was like, I picked the right one? My brain could not process which one of those little fades was correct. I don't know why. Oh, this combat sucks. Okay, so Heaven's Seal... Heaven's Seal should be fine. Yeah, I'm okay with this. I think it's fine. Or I'm gonna die, but I'm pretty sure it's fine. Because there's no forgiveness in this run, effectively. It's win on the floor that little fade is on, or die. There's no betweens. And that's okay. The idea when I took this trial is we're gonna play middle floor. We're just gonna deal with the curses because the deck is exceptionally small. And we're going to hopefully ramp up enough that we kill. And it does appear to be the case, which is a good sign. Because this floor will eventually ramp up to just wiping everything off the map here. If a curse play or 2 goes by, I'm not too concerned. Cool. Cutting it a little close, one might say. A little close. However, anyone you walk away from, I would say, is a good one. And it looks like we're going to walk away from this one pretty happy. The draft gets the super power up. I'm going to self-mutilation. The only thing to really worry about is the burnout. But it should be just on the edge of okay. It's close, though. It may bite me in the in-between turns. Like the one break turn where she's not dead. Oh, we got the Intent on Death for that, though. Alright, we're good. Intent on Death has been really clutch for keeping these floors standing. And then it goes to you. Doesn't matter too much. I was right on the trial, but it was a little close. A little close. This is one round. Damn, he dies in one round. That's wild. That's a strong floor. Now we just do that against Seraph, and we're good. I don't like any of these. I don't like any of these. One thing that would have been nice to pick up on this run, but I did not mention, would have been a way to kill Little Fade myself. Not a terrible choice. I do feel like I go left here. I want to duplicate Intent on Death. And I like the Pyre health, just in case. I think it's better, because the Merchant of Magic can have something very good as well. Also, Waxer Snuffer is a game winner. Resin Block is okay, it's not that good. What do you got on Magic Shop first? Double stack, whatever. Let's roll the Trinket Shop. Wow. 3 pretty good relics overall that I will not be picking. On a different run, however, this is pretty nuts. And I'll make I'll make Wicklash free. That's a card I always want to play. And then I'll roll this for no more rollovers. Fine. We take 2 cards out and then we leave. 2 cards are gonna be Foregone Power and I think it's Primitive Mold now. We have a few too many, but it's fine. 16 cards is good. We'll go back up to 17 for Intent. And, I mean, this is the deck I wanted to build. Now it's just a matter of finding out, does this deck win? Great question. We'll see. It's a single floor setup against Tap Seraph, and we have no meaningful way of killing Shadewings. So, there's a lot to be concerned about, for sure. We'll see. Not gonna play Votivary, I don't want to feed there. Go Wicklash on the back one. And I'm a little concerned, but turns like this one, this is a really just massive tempo swing, right? This is, I'm maybe not so concerned anymore. That's huge power swing. It is 30 damage going through, but I guess they lose the rage, but they're not really that much of, the Paraffin Enforcer in the front is gonna die. I've known this for the entire run. Oh, what if I miss the molded? I'll be pissed. I'll be pissed if I actually just draw this on the turn before. Oh, I might lose the run here. And I will be very unhappy if I lose to this. Okay, okay. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Calm down. I was getting pre-mad though. But I knew this guy was gonna die, and that's fine because I'm just going to reform him and he's gonna have a massive stats. He loses a bunch of burnout, but the burnout hopefully doesn't matter. And this is also the reason I wanted to have the double Paraffin Enforcer setup. Although maybe it wasn't so good. It's okay. Oh, look at that. The changes are in effect. And yeah, okay. It's to the point now where even if these two just chump block, the back two will clear the floor. This is another very quick run. It's 40 minutes on the episode, however, when you consider I spent 10 minutes talking about the balance changes, it's not really that bad of a run. It's a pretty swift one. My fate is very big. Look at that. 51 health from these +5s. It was, I feel like, much like every Firelight Fade run, it was a little precarious. However, at the end of the day, we got there, and that's all that matters, right? But they're very on the razor's edge. You play super cautious in the early game. It's something that I kind of, I'm trying to unlearn at this point, now that I've mostly moved, I mean, not mostly, I've moved over to 100% Monster Train on YouTube, where it's just me making decisions that I think are best, and nothing else affecting it, because, oh, there's actually, she's alive. But you know, Twitch chat likes challenges. They like the trials, and if I let myself be influenced by them, which I have, I end up talking myself into trials even though I know that they're going to be bad and things happen that are negative. I have to unlearn that, and I have to follow my brain, which goes, hey, don't take the trials. Like, why bother, right? And I can illustrate that on the end screen here once we get there. Please hold. Also, run length 33 minutes. Lots of 30-minute runs lately. I've been playing a little faster than usual, which is unfortunate. But a run like Little Fade, right? It's I don't need trials as long as I survive these combats, right? That's the feeling. Oh yeah, that was the last combo too. Huh. Wow, that's all of the clans mastered. Cool. Only those 2 clanless cards to go. One day. But yeah, it's like if I survive this combat and this, like, these 3 are like the super danger zone, I feel like, with Firelight. This one's not very dangerous. It's kind of hard to lose on the first combat, even on Covenant 20, but these 2, Combat 2 and Combat 3, are definitely like, I burned out incorrectly on the boss and lost. And then 4 and 5 is where you're starting to ramp up. You have your good upgrades, you have a good unit with draw priority, so you can get set up pretty consistently. And then once you get past Arcus, you're more or less home free, is how the power curve goes. It's like shaky in these 3, so don't even, like, honestly, if you're even slightly unsure, which you should be because Firelight Fade is an uncertainty in the early game, you have to draw the correct units at the right timing or else you're going to take it like crazy. Kind of like Primordium in that sense, but even worse. But as you get to remove more cards, which is something that is not really allowed in the early game, as you get into like removing cards here and here, adding in some good rares from the boss combat, you can start to power up. And then once you get past Arcus, you get to go extremely powerful, and you get to do Seraph in 2 rounds. And that's cool. But it's very precarious. You got to be super careful with Firelight. Easy to have that tip against you as well. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, do not forget to leave me a like, subscribe if you want to see more. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.